Well, greetings. We got to see if you got audio first before I start saying anything. We're going to be all over the box tonight. I'm going to start out talking about the Supreme Court and what went on today. See if we got audio though. There it is. Do we have audio? Yes, we have audio. Yay. Yes, we have audio. Okay. Well, here we are, and we have somebody here. Hello, folks. If you've been paying attention to the news, October 8th was the date that the Supreme Court was going to hear oral arguments in LGBT workplace discrimination cases. It's not looking real good for, well, I'll read it. We'll talk about it. I got onto this because I was checking up on the idiots, and let me read her stuff first. Today's historic arguments before the Supreme Court will have profound consequences for equal rights for all. It should require no debate to establish that no one should ever be fired for being trans, lesbian, gay, bisexual, or queer. And she was posting a LA Times story about it. And here's what Brianna said. I guess she's in Congress, or she's running for Congress or something. I'm not sure. I think she's running. It's horrific that Trump's DOJ argues for firing based on gender identity, or that our rights depend on Trump appointees. But I'm hopeful that SCOTUS will do the right thing. In Congress, I'll fight to ensure our rights can't be taken away. And then when I went looking to see what was going on with the court, here's only one conservative Supreme Court justice is taking LGBTQ discrimination seriously. Neil Gorsuch seemed open to prohibiting LGBTQ workplace discrimination, but his fears of massive social upheaval might stop him. Well, isn't that special? The pastor of your church is going to get on your case if you vote against religious discrimination of queers. The fate of LGBT equality in the American workplace may lie in Neil Gorsuch's hands. During Tuesday's oral arguments in a trio of cases involving transgender and gay rights, Gorsuch was the only conservative justice who seemed genuinely open to the possibility that federal law shields LGBTQ employees from discrimination. He was the only conservative justice who engaged in good faith with the argument that discrimination against gay, bisexual, and transgender workers always takes sex into account. Potential massive social upheaval of a ruling that recognizes federal protections for LGBTQ workers. Well, hey, Neil, there was no such uprising after Obergefell. The same sex, they didn't go nuts. The outcome of Tuesday's cases may depend on his ability to set aside political concerns and interpret the law as written, as his oath and his job description requires. Those cases revolve around Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which bars employment discrimination because of sex. The plaintiffs here, 2 gay men and 1 transgender woman, argue that it's impossible to discriminate again on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity without taking sex into account. If they're correct, then Title VII imposes a federal ban on LGBTQ employment discrimination. Currently, only 22 states protect gay and bisexual employees, and 21 states protect trans employees. An inclusive interpretation of Title VII would provide a federal backstop for the half of the country that lives in a state with no legal safeguards for LGBTQ employees. We'll see how, and this is what I called this a while ago. Actually, I said, watch Gorsuch, conservative, apparently, and his rulings favor the people fairly often for somebody who's supposed to be a hardcore right winger. So back to, well, let's see what else is worth talking about there. But first, let me just read something from, nah, fuck it. We'll save that for when a few more are here. We're gonna be like doing a little raging at the kiwi farmers tonight. These fucking idiots. Let's see what else is happening in the court about this. So the phone line's open. Hello, we didn't want to do that. And you can call me at Hangouts. Or the Discord server is busy. Let's get to the link to the Discord server. And if anybody's like really feeling generous tonight, I'm in a bit of a financial position and could use some tips at PayPal. And anytime Sneasel or Noel or Big Todd or any other asshole wants to like come on the stream with me and try to provoke me with their bullshit, projecting their perversions at me, denial of their own inadequacies. It's fucking ridiculous. Here's Sneasels on this morning's what Amazon order. We're going to see who there. We'll see who's paying attention. So the asshole that's stalking me is someone who calls himself Christ Cried. He's the one that brings their videos, my videos, to them. A local activist group is supposedly hosting his birthday party. He also says the move from YouTube will be delayed a few weeks. Will it ever happen? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know what's going on with that DTube, but Steam. Summary, Tommy calls the TPD again. Tommy calls the city of Tucson. Tommy calls to try and hire a paralegal, only to devolve into berating the person on the phone. You don't practice law anymore. You just fill out forms. Well, this was after the person like agreed. And it was about the fourth paralegal I called that I was like, "Hi, you guys are just like the lawyers. If you have to do any work besides filling in a form, you don't do it." Um, Sneasel, I don't think ever studied any political science or law. Um, just, I think he's a psych major, psych or business or something like that. He's definitely a psychotic. He's a total fucking pervert. A really disgusting animal. And trying to defame me for a totally innocent encounter 35 years ago. Making up all sorts of stupid shit. Like, I don't know what he thought he was going to accomplish by complaining about this to the ward rep. But when you sit back and think, it's difficult to determine what he thought he would accomplish by complaining about this to the cops. The cop call is typical whining, typical Tom whining, as is the ward rep call. Now, see, what Sneasel doesn't understand, because he's so wrapped up in his own ego, is that I've been playing Dunking Clown for troll bases for 10 years now, 15 years. And collecting a lot of data about plague, organized cybercrime, and organized cyber terrorism on the web. These people are just examples. You're just a bunch of punks. There's large organizations behind this shit. And I'm just like following the chain of command. And that's why, the cops, I talked to the cop I talked to this morning was Sergeant Hearn. And he was a former patrol sergeant that I knew in the street. And we're just verifying, that, and this is all part of it. It's like the basic issue is that there's no serious regulation law that enables a local law enforcement agency to extradite anybody from anywhere outside their own county, pretty much. And maybe can do something in the state, but definitely not from. They have no way of getting anybody from out of state that's committing internet crimes. Then another problem that is very common is that the local law enforcement agencies don't have anybody with the expertise. They don't have any computer forensics team, which is exactly what's going on with Tucson. And this all been heading for either the legislature or the federal court the whole time. It's been total bullshit about any kind of personal lawsuits against anybody or copyright infringement or any other shit. I'm going after a RICO. I'm going to try and get a RICO investigation instituted. And I'm also, pushing. They tried to do a bill in 2009 called the Megan Meier Cyberbullying Act. Let's see if we can find some information about that. Anybody saying anything yet? No. Come on, where's the assholes? Bring it, no. Bring it, Sneasel. Come on, ring that phone. I'm in the mood. Here's fucking Sneasel. Let's finish this. He mentioned that he talked to the guy who called in the swatting on Discord, so it seems he's being trolled on there. No, that's not what happened, fool. Somebody told me in a stream that, and it's in a chat comment in a stream that someone gave up the name, or somebody was bragging about it on Discord. He also mentioned that someone named Grand Marquis gave him and the TPD information about drug movement. I think Tom is the most gullible fuck ever born. No, you wish I was. Here, let me read you what's going on with this shit. I didn't read this. Okay, this Grand Marquis guy has been like feeding me bullshit for years, and I don't believe any of it. Um, at some point recently, this guy was in the hospital, and I'm out of the hospital. And I was staying at my son's house. He and my daughter-in-law have been really kind and patient with me while I get back on my feet. And I asked him what was going on. Um, the doctors aren't sure. They thought a brain tumor first, but the CAT scan didn't show that. The latest is fluid that builds up in the brain, which is causing headaches and the blurred vision. I'm on all kinds of new medications because maybe the old ones were causing it. My vision is better and the fatigue is going away somewhat, but I still have trouble getting up sometimes. They want to get in there and drain fluid, but maybe the meds will do the trick. And my response to that was I would be going to see a naturopath for another opinion. The medications are possibly the culprit. Oh, that's what are you down from? And then that was my answer to that. And then his response was someone said I should use CBD oil, but I don't know. My response is I would ask a professional about that and about possible degenerative problems in the pituitary, hypothalamus, and pineal glands. As my daughter-in-law has been telling me to see this woman who does natural remedies. I'm almost ready to go that direction the more I think about it. She shows me a lot of things about CBD oil and Reiki and some other things. I think stones too, but I don't remember. I told him ask a professional. Oh no, and then my response to that was it can't hurt. I'm not getting involved with essential oils though. I know that's bullshit. She's pushing that, but I think whoever's selling it to her is a fortune teller. And I sent him a link about essential oils from a place called Healthline. And just said, don't sell the oil short. Somebody did Reiki on me, but never felt it. Need prayer was next. And then what's going on was my next response to when he said need prayer. And then I get this message. Hello, where is it? Update on my father. My name is Jeffrey and I am Keith's son. He wrote down his password to this email account and asked me to contact you in case anything happened to him. He slipped into a coma 2 days ago and it looks like he won't wake up. The doctors have said he is now vegetative and is being kept alive by machine and feeding tube. He wanted me to let you know that you were included in his will and that he wants to give you part of his estate. It isn't much, but he thought you should have some of it. I am telling you this because my brothers and sister and I intend to contest the will. We each have children who spend a lot of time with their grandfather the last couple of years, and they were promised college funds, which we were counting on. It wasn't until recently he told me that he was getting advice from you to go off his medication, start taking CBD oil, which is not, if you were listening to what I just said, I didn't do that at all. This is why he's in a coma now. This is why he is effectively dead. The doctor said he would have lived so much longer if he had just continued his treatment. I promise you that you will not get any of his money. We don't even know you. Reading through some of these emails, I don't even want to know you. I still don't know why you told him to stop his medication. You're not a doctor. I did not tell him to stop his medication, asshole. Stop giving medical advice. The only medical advice I told him was go talk to a professional. I can tell you this, if you had anything, you'd be getting sued now. And my response to that, I never did any such thing. I'm very sorry for your anger and misunderstanding what I said to him. I was a student of Dr. Robert Mendelsohn, also known as a medical heretic. So I tend to suspect pharmaceuticals in mysterious deteriorative brain disorders like he was describing. And recommended he consult a naturopath. Somebody else convinced him to be using CBD, which is apparently one of either your wife or one of your brother's wives. And I just agreed that it could be helpful. I never suggested he stop taking what he was being prescribed. I don't think any of that really constitutes inappropriate medical advice. Other than that, this comes as a huge surprise to me. I hardly knew your father. He was feeding me information about people who were doing me great harm over the internet. I suspect you've only read the past few weeks. I would gladly send you all the correspondence between us. There are several years of it. I certainly wouldn't want any money, but he wanted to leave for me to cut into any promises he made to his grandchildren. And I don't think there's any need to be getting overly contentious about this. If there's anything from his state that I would want, it would be his files on internet organized crime. My prayers are with him and his family for either a speedy recovery or a peaceful transition to the next plane. So his response to that is, you're getting nothing from me or him, you fucking ghoul. Get a lawyer, you're going to need it. I think you're quite mistaken in this. Your father isn't even dead yet, and you're squabbling with me, trying to blame me for something with reasoning that will not hold up in court. All I told him to do was seek other opinions and agreed that CBD could be helpful. As I said, this is a huge surprise to me. And if you want something to piss you off even more, I never totally trusted your father to be feeding me honest information. And I have no way of knowing now if this isn't just another elaborate bullshit troll. This is why you believe I believe, but I don't believe. I'm not gullible. I'm skeptical. But I'm also, I trust people's honesty until it's obvious that they're being dishonest. This is why I appear gullible. Are you willing to send me a picture of yourself holding a hand-lettered sign that says, "Hello, Tommy," and a picture? Oh, good. That sounded like a mousetrap going off. It says, "Hello, Tommy," and a picture of your father in the hospital. You know, I don't even believe this is real. So here it is again. I've been reading through several years worth of email, and what I've learned is that you're a leech. He did years worth of investigations, and you did nothing but take from him. He didn't give me anything. He gave me little tidbits. He offered you information you were looking for, and you berated him, insulted him, and just kept asking for more. My father was a generous man. From what I can see, you paid his generosity by being an asshole toward him. My lawyer will be contacting you shortly. You're getting nothing from his estate. I'll have the government come after his estate for those files, asshole. That he's already, he's already been interviewed by the investigators. All right. So I'm getting those files, whether you like it or not, motherfucker. Then my response to that, hello, come on, open. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not convinced that this isn't just more elaborate bullshit you're gaslighting me with. As for you calling me a leech and a ghoul, that's fucking laughable the way you're acting now, and your father isn't even dead yet. Shame on you. You'll probably be fighting with all your siblings over whatever he may have left. As it is, the TPD investigator thinks this is all just so much bullshit. And so do I. That's just another faker. Oh. We have an idiot. We have an idiot with let's see if we can't find this idiot. I don't think that any Thomas J. Wasserbergs are going to be wanting to have a fool like that using their name. Okay, he doesn't have a channel. Huh. Okay, well, I guess we'll just like, goodbye. 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 Next asshole. Anybody have anything like realistic to say? Where's Null? Where's Sneasel? Here's there's this fucking idiot. This is here's even more ridiculous. Here they're talking about, what are they talking about? This is the one from Sunday where I said it could be the last stream at YouTube. Man, I never keep up with him. This is probably the first time I've seen his face. He looks exactly like a witch that eats kids in fairy tales. Well, you look like somebody who plays with blow-up fucking dolls. Tom is done with this planet. He's returning home to be with his true father, Nurgle. No, I'm descendant of people that have been caretakers of this planet for thousands of years, and I'm waiting for my ancestors to come home. Hopefully I won't have to leave, but I don't think I will. So, even though I've been a total failure in terms of economic success, I've lived a very rich life and a righteous life as best I can. This is it's Yom Kippur right now, and I'm not exactly fasting because I'm still sucking on cough drops and smoking cigarettes. No weed though. So anyway, why DTube? That site is awful. Just move to BitChute. Well, let's take a look at BitChute, because that DTube does look pretty shitty. There's some, there's nothing hardly. There are no transgender people. It looks like. Let's see what BitChute is. This looks like a better idea than DTube. Oh, InfoWars is on there. This looks interesting. Corrupt. Yeah, this looks much more interesting than DTube. I think I'm going to register there.
For the last few years, I've had this sense that everything I learned as a kid about how America's government works is completely wrong. But I had no idea how bad things actually were until I saw this one graph. Researchers at Princeton University looked at more than 20 years worth of data to answer a pretty simple question. Does the government represent the people? Now, this is what they found. This axis here represents public support for any given idea. On the left at 0% are ideas that not a single American wants. On the right at 100% are ideas that everyone supports. This axis represents the likelihood of Congress passing a law that reflects any of these ideas, from a 0 to a 100% chance. On this graph, an ideal republic would look like this. If 50% of the public supports an idea, there's a 50% chance of it becoming law. If 80% of us support something, there's an 80% chance. You get the idea. Now, most Americans would probably agree that, with a few exceptions, we should be as close to this ideal as possible. Unfortunately, the way America actually works doesn't even come close. Take an idea that nobody supports, literally nobody, and it has about a 30% chance of becoming federal law. Now, take an incredibly popular idea, the most popular idea this country has ever seen, and there's also about a 30% chance of it becoming law. This means that the number of American voters for or against any idea has no impact on the likelihood that Congress will make it law. Put another way, and I'm just going to quote the Princeton study directly here, the preferences of the average American appear to have only a minuscule, near zero, statistically non-significant impact upon public policy. So if you've ever felt like your opinion doesn't matter and that the government doesn't really care what you think, well, you're right. But there's a catch. This flat line only accounts for the bottom 90% of income earners in America. Economic elites, business interests, people who can afford lobbyists, they get their own line. Look at how much closer their line is to the ideal. When they want something, the government is much more likely to do it. And when they don't, they have the power to completely block it from happening, no matter how much the rest of the country supports it. They get what they want, and guess who ends up paying for it? We pay for it with the most expensive healthcare in the world. We pay for it with a tax code that's a complete mess. We pay for it with internet that's slower and more
I'm registering for BitChute. I gave you a password. Oh, I guess I only gave it to you once. You want it twice. That's better. Cool.
For the last few years, I've had this sense that everything I learned as a kid about how America's government works is completely wrong. But I had no idea how bad things actually were until I
Yeah, that's an interesting site. Thank you, Logan. Tudor looks like one of the aliens from Laser Blast. Decent chimp out. Wait, what? New browser called Brave? I guess Brave has been around for a while. Brave bribed you to try it out with some oddball cryptocurrency. They didn't ask me for anything. This will work about as well as his Kango modded forum. Switching streaming platforms won't stop the trolls. I wasn't able to actually watch the stream as he did on YouTube. You have to actually register to join YouTube. While you're at, fuck off. Wow, he looks like a very old and stressed out version of Nancy Pelosi without makeup. I think here's Sneasel, the brilliant leader of these fucking demented psychopaths. I think it's funny that Tom is moving further into this direction. Tom has no clue how to deal with crypto, and I don't want a clue. And in his experience dealing with crypto in his past, he managed to lose his wallet. Back a few years ago, Noel would poke his head in on tutor streams. They were a lot more fun back then. Now they've gotten sad. He truly is a shell of his former self, and it's gotten hard for me to even keep up with the guy. Well, that's because I'm not like addressing the issues that you're hoping I would address, like whining about you assholes. And, you know, shell of my former self. You're not able to bring that shit out as easily, boys. Sorry. Sometimes Tom would challenge him to call in. Yeah, come on, bring it. Chemistry between Noel and Tom is gold. I don't know what it is about Noel and Tom, but they go well together. Noel gets him nice and riled just by talking to Tom like a normal human. No baiting required. The fuck you say. Anyways, Noel offered Tom, let's just, let's just see $5 in the Bitcoin. So now he's going to do this. I'll tell you what will likely happen. Tom will do this shit with Brave and DTube or whatever. And then whoever's messing with him, RN, because someone seems to be tooling with him, will pull a "lol, I stole your BTC, old man" play to try to get him to go to war with them. Tom will rage for half a day, if that, then realize he didn't even know how to turn meme money into real money and move on with life. I'm not interested in money. I really don't give a fuck about crypto or real money. That's like the least of my concerns. But go ahead and, rant on. So are we going to get any feedback tonight? Anybody got anything to say? Because I'm about out. Maybe I'll make some noise. Oh, let's get that up a little bit. You don't need to see the pile of shit that I have swept up, ready to sweep out. I think I want the other chair. It's a little higher. Oops. There we go. Hello. Out of the way. Me. Still nobody's saying nothing, huh? Oh well. Let's go get the recorder. I really don't know how to play piano. Oh, I know what I was gonna do. I was gonna tune up this guitar. I didn't tune it. I should have tuned it up before I started streaming. I didn't do that. So I'm not gonna tune the guitar up. But I fixed the guitar. Oh. Yep. Big fat pregnant female mouse. Those are always nice to get. So it's Gunji in there. That's better. Still nobody wanted to talk. Well, hell, I could really use a few bucks if anybody's got it extra. eBay or PayPal messed me up. I had, I juggle what's in my pocket, $500 credit at PayPal, and my check. And every now and then PayPal does something, screws it up, and they did it this month. Fortunately, I didn't bounce anything. They were supposed to put something on my credit account, and they billed my bank instead. And that just put me about $10 short of my bus pass and picking up my horn from the shop. So I'm off tomorrow to the pawn shop to try and get rid of that guitar and a couple of cameras that I never was able to use. I really don't like how this is blowing. I'll clean it out a little bit. I really need to. I wonder if one of these will get in there. Seems small enough. Yes. And it gets the gunk better than paper does. Definitely not blowing right. Now it's time for a new flute. I lost one the other day. And this one's kind of chewed up. Boy, this just doesn't want to play tonight. Just want to drink some water. That sounds a lot clearer. Hopefully it'll play. But nobody wants to talk to me. I don't know how much longer I want to stay on. I just want to chit chat. Yeah. That's not going anywhere. I don't know, I think I'm done. We're gonna see if anybody was really paying attention tonight and noticed something unusual. But here's my old decrepit rundown self. I think I'm doing pretty good for 65. I'm gonna be 65 in just a couple of weeks, and I know people half my age that are more fucked up than me. And I can honestly thank weed for making my life bearable and teaching me how to step back from aggression. Probably the biggest, most important thing that we did for me was teach me how to step back from aggression rather than stepping into it. But right at the moment, I'm feeling like stepping into some aggression. Come out from behind your internet fucking connections, you chicken shit motherfucking perverts. Otherwise, I'll see you in court because it's coming. It is coming. And how it's going to get there, you know, hopefully I'll be able to find a paralegal that'll actually be able to do the work. And help me do it right. Otherwise, thanks for coming. See you next time. Happy day. Bye.